Hey, have you ever been wrong to you for doing what they did and now you want revenge? Well, this subreddit is for you. So, welcome to r/ProRevenge. I am back again for some new stuff, brand new things. A lot of things going on with this subreddit. Oh, I'm gonna make sure to zoom in very quickly. Okay. All right. Someone suggested I post this story over here. Enjoy. All right, there we go. When our first child was born, my ex forced me to quit my job. When our second child was 2, I found out about his affair. Oh, immediately affair though. But by then, he was extremely verbally, emotionally, and sometimes physically abusive. Ooh, get him out of here. When he abused our firstborn, I put him out. That was in 2012. 12 years ago. Gee. Okay. I couldn't afford daycare to work and had no family support. He refused to give me any money to take care of the kids, saying, "The courts haven't ordered me to give you a dime." He lied to the bank and had my accounts frozen, and even insulted me when I filed for default in the divorce. The judge finally ordered him to pay child and spousal support for 6 months after I kicked him out. It was 2,562 a month. Oh, that's the support. He refused to pay until the garnishment kicked in, and by then he was 6,000 behind in support. Oh, I used that to get permission to move away. Good. I remarried a year after the divorce. I checked the court docs, and there was a little box that said spousal support. Stop upon remarriage. If that box was checked, it wasn't checked. So I figured I was good. Instead of filing for his retirement, I just took that year of spousal support, $12,000, and left it alone. Spousal support was only ordered for 2 years. Just 2 years itself? Okay. In 2017, he filed for sole custody of the kids out of nowhere. That was when he found out that I had remarried and he had paid spousal support to me during the first year of my marriage. I told him I took that money instead for filing my share of his retirement. I said if he let me keep that 12K, I wouldn't file to split his 401K. He demanded that I repay the spousal support. You're giving that money. It's already too late. The judge ordered me to repay it, but increased child support and deducted the repayment from that. It ended up that I got an extra $20 a month, and he repaid himself. He dropped his bid for custody in exchange for 2 extra weeks in the summer. Okay, I pursued the retirement account split. He refused to cooperate and drag it out for 4 years, just now to now. It was so bad, they sanctioned him and he had to pay me $600 a month for a year in addition to child support. And they also charged him with contempt. Oh, gotten a lot of worse and worse for him and better for her. In January 2021, he proposed to his girlfriend. In May of 2021, that's 5 months, I finally got the disbursement from his 401k. I wouldn't say how much it was, but it was about 4 times the amount of spousal support overpayment. Okay, I have no idea it would be that much. I thought it would be around 12K, which is why I thought keeping that year of spousal and not filing for his retirement account was a fair trade. Had he not tried to take the kids from me, I never would have filed to split the account. Played stupid games with stupid prices. His fiance emailed me recently and told me it was my fault he won't marry her because I cleaned out his entire retirement account. She said I shouldn't have stolen his money. I told her that I gave him the option to let me keep that year of spousal support or take it back and I could file for his retirement. He chose to have me file for his retirement. I told her that if he really wanted to marry her and protect his assets, they could get a prenup so he wouldn't have to worry about it. She said she shouldn't have signed a prenup because I robbed him. Yeah, his fiance's got to go too. I never asked to be financially dependent on him. He clearly indicated he wanted a court order to take care of his kids, so I got him one. I tried to be fair and take the lesser amount by taking the spousal support and not filing for his retirement. He wouldn't let me. So, all in all, in summary, my ex refused to pay me until support orders drop, refused to pay until they revoke his license, tried to get me in trouble for accepting spousal support overpayment, and in the end, it cost him a lot of money out of his 401k. Divorce is a really tough time. It's a really hard thing to do. Trying to accept this payment, and guess what? You can't do it if you have to pay the support on time. But if you don't, you'll be trouble. And the worst, your 401k will be gone, will be disappeared, and it will be taken into somebody else's account or something. So yeah, I love this comic. Loves that comic? cash in his 401k instead of groceries and his shades. Exactly. Gotta the support on time, or otherwise your 401k can be as good as mine. That's what happens. All right, next story. Okay, next story. It's called "Landlord Put Me Through 3 Years of Hell." Oh, this is over a month ago. Here you go. My landlord was a terrible human being. Honestly, calling him a human is even pushing it. Just a few things he has done to me over the past 3 years. Ugh, 3 years. Torture. Stole my dryer and other household products that are in a common area. Made me pay for a plumbing repair, which was deemed normal wear and tear. Tried breaking into my house, retaliated against me because I went to my lawyer after he sent me a letter about a parking spot. And he tried charging me an extra 150 a month. That is price gouging things. I mean, if you're a landlord, you're not supposed to do that because this renter here, they're renting your place. They want to have a house themselves. Don't just break in the house and pay them a few minutes early, rent them a few. Like, you don't do that. You don't have the power to do that. You don't even do that without noticing, without the notice. You should have done that, or they will put you in the court for something like that. Mind you, I was never late for rent in 3 years, except for when he made me pay for a plumbing repair. So the next month, I was a couple days late. Why is this person doing this? You shouldn't be a landlord if you're treating the renters with disrespect. That's all I can see here. So I called the building inspector 4 days before I left. I told him everything. The porch, when he finally replaced it, it didn't have a permit and was definitely not up to code. Oh, I told him about the plumbing and the heater. I went on and on. The inspector came over the very next day and I saw him taking measurements. Each violation is a $500 per day fine until fixed. I honestly don't know what happened, but my God, did it feel good to finally get him back. He's at the very least on the town's radar, that's for sure. A week before I moved down, he tried telling me I needed to be out in a specific time. Why do you want this at a specific time? Any reason? I never responded, and where I live, that's not how it works. He tried to threaten me with the police if I wasn't gone. Well, I went to my police myself that morning to warn them. The lawyer did come by, threatening me and harassed me. I called the police and they informed him I was in the right. So, long story short, he had broken into my apartment. You never do that. I had left to go to the storage while I was gone. He nailed my door shut. I told the police to get the supervisor because I was over being harassed by this guy. Go figure, he left before the supervisor could get there. Plus, he knew he'd be arrested on sight. Got the police report. They're charging you with a felony for breaking and entering. That's what you do. Fines plus a charge. Don't be a jerk to good people. Okay? Don't be a jerk to the renters. They're here to live. They're here to find a place to stay, and they pay you, the landlord, with the money so that they can have stay. And you'll never, ever, ever break into some house. That's their place now. That's what they're doing. Always have a contract between both of you. Okay, always. You never, ever, ever, ever do that. Never to the landlord somebody's doing. You should never, ever, ever break into somebody else's house or do something that's very illegal, or I will call the code, or they will call the code. They will inspect that place and they will violate whoever's violating that. And if you're violating with anything against with the code, yeah, they will charge you with whatever. Okay. Yep, that's a good thing. I'm gonna read some of the comments here before I go mosing down. Yeah. Please, for the love of God, tell him you were the one who called the inspector once you move out. Then just laugh while he screams at you in the other end. Oh man, that would be, yeah, giving us the bad rep of what a landlord. Because our definition of landlord thinks who's really bad and tries to bills every time. Yeah. As a landlord myself, hearing such nasty stories ticks me off. I had tenants live in my homes for over a decade. I leave them alone and let them live their life. It's so simple, but people can't seem to grasp it. Hopefully, you don't have to go through such nonsense ever again. Yeah, yeah, awesome. There's a lot of bad landlords. When it comes to looking for a house, I would never ever find a landlord who is really trust, who they can respect us, me, the landlord, or any of my family as the renters, because we wanted a place to stay. They want to stay at your place, and we'll give you the money so that we'll have our own place to stay. Yeah, we have rented this place here since last year, well, late 2023, and look where we are. We're still here. Only a few months. We only live here for a few months, just almost half a year, like 6 months or something. And those landlords are really amazing. Could definitely meet. I met some landlords who are as well. My aunt in one time was a landlord because she owned the house someone owns that house. And well, both of my aunts, I have two aunts who the owner of the house. So it's a great place to do. But if we ever move out where I want to find hopefully the landlord that I'm looking for is just as respect as give them as much respect as everybody else. Equal respect for sure. Okay, next, this is another landlord stuff, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Okay, yeah, we have another landlord revenge here. Okay, it's called My Landlord Got Not Exactly What He Deserved, but it sure was a rough ride for him. Oh, this is gonna be so awesome. It's long, but we'll see. I had a landlord who was pretty absent. I lived in this building, a high-rise of 20 stories, for 10 plus years. He, despite living next door to me, was absent and cold, personally, but cool enough. Rent was good. Arguing was never bother him about anything unless it's absolute emergency. Shower head wonky, go buy a new one. Fridge breaks, get it fixed, or just buy a new one. Take it out what you pay in rent. Lost the receipt, I don't care. I know more or less what a fridge costs. Just take it out of the rent. Can't do that. You, as a homeowner, okay, as a landowner or landlord, if there's anything problem, it's not their fault. You're responsible for is to get some new things, buy some new things. Just yesterday we had a new stove. So we had like a white stove there. Now it was replaced by like a bigger stove. It's called a black too. So and we have our very own light, we have a very own timer, and we have a very own clock. So yeah, our stove is much better than what I've seen, but I haven't tried that new stove though. Okay, set it aside. Skipping the story. Finally, his wife decides she wants more rent and wants to rent the place out as an office. It's not legal because remember, renters can have their own place now. You can't take away what they have away. That's not how it works here. And once it's out ASAP. I agreed to move out a month early and get a month's rent back and deposit. Complete 180 on their part. They can't give you stuff until you fix all the stuff. Too many things. My cats did scratch up the leather legs of the dining table and pull up bar made two dents in the door frame of the kitchen, which was quite nice hardwood. They come to me with this list of tons of stuff like, oh, you hang a photo frame here? This towel is slightly chipped. This is the busiest work time of the year for me, but I'm trying to be cooperative. Sure, I got the table legs re-lettered, spectacle the photo frame wall hole. Can't do anything about the door frame. Take it out of the deposit, patch the tile, like dozens of everywhere and tear things. Like you want me to change the window screens? These are all new screens in a nicer shape than when I moved in. But I trusted the guy. Gotta get my money. At the end, he should have been giving me 24,000 rupees, which is about 2500 pounds. Give me five. Five. I still need to use the money to fix all that stuff. If you can't accept the five, I can't give you anything at all. I was super pissed off, but took the five. Now, people in building are gossipy. Ooh. I don't participate, but I did tell this one older lady about my frustration. She told everyone. Oh, it starts to spread out a little bit of gossip. How this is gonna go. The wife went from being star of the mom is screwed with the building to nobody wanted to talk to her. I was shunned the guy too. I originally told him I was planning on moving to another city, but an opportunity came up and I ended up renting a similar unit in the same building. Hey, so they thought they could screw me over and not have to see me, but now they still did often. Oh, love this kind of revenge. A year later, the office calls me with some question about how to do something with the floor heating. I go, door frame is not fixed. Still hesitant. I call the guy like, what the hell, man? And he tells me to mind my own business. Oh, 5 years later, I see the light at my old place. It's still on at 3 a.m. It's still on 3 a.m. Huh, that's odd. I go to check. The door is open, and the place is just trash. Ruined. Cabinets broken. Stuff on the walls. Lazy landlord. And the dents on the kitchen door frame are still there. So the guy never fixed anything. just kept up my money. By this time, smartphones were popular and we had a group chat for the whole building. So about 500 people. Wow. You're building a group chat and you're getting up with you have a whole entire gang of 500 people. Ooh. It took a big group of this entire apartment to take him out. I took pictures and posted everything. Apparently, he had also nicked these people's deposit. Again, illegal. And there was a huge ruckus when they trashed the place. Cops called. All these people chimed in with complaints and pictures. People smoking in the hallways, leaving leaky rubbish outside the front door, videos of people using foul language in front of children, dirty footprints. Oh, it's so chaotic here. He got fined a lot for creating public disturbance, degrading the quality of the living space, illegally renting a residence as an office, and to top it all off, the building manager wouldn't grant him permission to have workers in to fix the place. So it sat there empty for like 6 months, and the fines were big too. Ooh, take about 1.5 months rent from me, lose a year's rent, suck it. Again, this happens. Don't with renters, because the renters will find some ways to screw you around and not doing anything. Huh, I like this. I really like the story. It's so awesome. Well, more penny than pro. That's a big penny there. It's a great story. Huh, alright. This comment. You have lived there 10 years. Sorry, but it's gonna need deep clean, paint, and probably no glasses. None of that is your responsibility. Do a basic broom clean and bounce. They're trying to get you to renovate their house for them. They get top rent for the next 10. Not your problem. You don't have to do that. Landlords, if you're watching this, you never, ever, ever do that to somebody. Because you want the money all to yourselves just because they're gonna do something for you as a landlord. Nope, that's a slap in the from the backhand. If you're doing all this stuff, you get a you get a slap from a backhand. You are not doing that. You'll never ever screw those people up. Really glad that that happened here. Yeah, you didn't have to do anything with the bad things that are requirement is revenge. Yeah, landlords suck. Never paid the last month's rent. They haven't used the deposit. That is a rule. Let's get to the next one. Got Rick guy arrested for suspended license. Okay, this story takes about 20 years ago. In the mid 2000s, my friends and I would frequent a small billiards place in a neighbor town where you could rent a table by the hour or play per game. We played a few games, watch whatever sports were on TV, and have casual conversations. There were no problems and no drama until 3 months of us visiting this place. Good place to hang out. Billiards place? Oh yes. I have learned myself how to do billiards for years. No, this is during college years, and I finally learned how to play, but I'm still learning. I am still learning how to play pool. A guy shows and takes our spot at the billiards table. Oh, no big deal. We're just chatting away. 20 minutes later, my friend lets him know that we want to play the next game and the jerk is super dismissive. Ooh. Needless to say, we didn't get in during the next game, so I politely no, they wanted to play next. Another lady chimed in, she wanted the game after us. The guy blatantly ignored me and the other woman. So more time going by and the guy leave the table. We see our chance to get in. We put the quarters in and the balls are dispensed except the green six ball. The guy took it to the bathroom with him. Oh, why did you took the ball? Can't play a game of pool without without a missing ball. We are not playing the pool with a missing ball. That's not how it works. At this point, it was ridiculous, and we notified the manager. Manager noted it was 12:30, and they were going to be calling last call and closing, so they didn't want to make a scene by kicking him out. He gets another ball so we can play. That guy comes out of the bathroom and knows we realize what he smirks and proceeds to patio to have a cigarette, bringing along his beer and the green billiard ball. The guy comes back in and tosses the ball he was on the table, hitting a few balls on the side, messing up our game. He goes to the bar just in time for last call. That is rude. Throwing the sixth ball and ruin the game. Yep, the guy's a jerk for sure. It's a super major jerk. Really, he's a jerk. Okay. One of the friends I would suggest that we follow him home and each call the highway patrol to report a suspected drunk driver. 3 or 4 of us agree. So when he leaves, we use our trusty Nextel push to talk phones and coordinate several calls to the police. Hey, nice. Provide details like license plate, vehicle make and model and color. Imagine the car nearly hit another vehicle. They come up with this little lies, but we was swerving between lines and driving erratically. Sure enough, this was under a 15-minute plan. Yeah, we had no idea where the guy lived, but suspected it was close and he was visiting a neighborhood place, so our time was limited. Oh, the one guy who didn't notify the police tailed the jerk and called us giddy when a police officer pulled between him and the guy and turned in his lights to pull him over. Ooh. Police bothered that we couldn't arrest it of a guy who was pulled over after multiple calls of erratic driving. He wasn't arrested for DWI, but instead of driving on a suspended license. Oh, yeah. You never ever drive any vehicle with a suspended license, because that's worse. Too long ago, a guy was jerked at a local village coast who got pulled over by the cops, and he was arrested for driving in a suspended license. He should not be driving with the suspended license because that's worse. That is worse than having no license. Well, no license or suspended license, it's bad. It is bad. That's good. All right, I'm gonna read this. This is gonna be my second to last one. Okay. Okay. Guys, this is not a landlord thing. We just have this theme going on right here with the landlord stuff. All right, a lawyer's pro revenge on the landlord. Okay, landlords are ace in the holes, generally speaking. Everyone knows that. But if you think residential landlords are bad, they're nothing compared to commercial landlords. Landlords of commercial buildings are some of the cruelest, nastiest people I ever come across. This adventure tale is about a commercial landlord and how I dealt with him. Okay, so this is the lawyer's POV. Whew. Back in the 90s, sometimes I go for lunch at this restaurant at the beginning of our building. The place is called The Vault because it had a massive bank vault that had always been there, dating back to the days where the place was turned into a restaurant. The vault is so huge that you could see a couple of tables in there, and you could eat dinner surrounded by rows of safe deposit boxes. One day I was there for lunch, and the owner took me aside. The landlord is driving me nuts, he said. The landlord drives everyone nuts. I was a subtenant in the same building, sharing space with an older lawyer, Aaron, and the landlord was always causing us trouble. I already had a few run-ins with him, and we hated each other on site. In most jurisdictions, commercial landlords don't need court orders to get you out if you're late with the rent. Instead, they change the locks and you find out about it when you show up and your key doesn't work. Ugh, that is so rude. Every time our landlord had a dispute with anyone, which is often, he always threatened to change the locks. Never do that. He keeps demanding all this stuff for extra rent. And it's really weird. A lot of it's really old. The restaurant owner showed me a letter the landlord had served on him earlier that day. I looked over to the man and read a list of expenses for snow removal and parking lot repair and common area flooring and all kinds of carpool and back gears. I read it all the way to the end, and there it was. The usual clause saying he was going to change the locks if the tenant didn't pay this and do that. Illegal. Absolutely illegal. Wow, commercial landlord is way worse than residential landlords. Opie, you explained this perfectly. You explained this from the wording of the demand. It looks like you've been fine for a while. Why did you even before consulting a lawyer? I asked one of the lawyers I know, he said it's hopeless. He told me the lawyer's name. It was a guy I knew with a crappy real estate practice who resorted to taking little legal aid cases to keep the lights on when the market tanked in '89. So that's '89. You do something to make the landlord hate you? I asked, because this is a bit over the top, even of our ace in the hole landlord. He knows I'm moving the restaurant. I think he's trying to grab as much money as possible before I go. Plus, he's giving me grief over the vault. He won't let you take it with you? Are you kidding? It weighs almost 100 tons, and I don't need it. But the lease says I have to remove it, and that I also have to restore the building to what it was before there was a vault. That would cost a fortune. The ace in the hole landlord says if I leave the vault behind when I move, he'll sue. Send your lease up to my office. Let me take it over, I said. I finished my lunch, and when I got back to my office, the lease was waiting for me. It was just as bad as the restaurant owner said. The lease was a renewal of an assignment of renewal. Oh, okay, wait, go back. Go back. The lease was a renewal of a renewal of assignment of a renewal. What? They just remade this thing of this whole assignment. The original document dating back to shortly after World War II when a bank first leased the place and the vault was installed. Yeah, that place there was used to be a bank because there's a freaking vault in there. The ones who removed the vault, well, back to the place it started, there was a vault, okay? This place was a bank and the bank is gone. They changed it into a restaurant. So the vault stays there and it becomes way better than the bank because they can definitely see the bank and they can serve it too. They can have tables over there inside the vault, inside the security deposit. I mean, what good way? That's not a good way to be there. Okay, somehow the landlord had suckered the restaurant into taking over the lease, leaving liable to remove a bank vault at the end of term. Can't do that. No big deal. The restaurant can default, and all the landlord can do is sue a shell company. But when I got to the last page of the lease, there was a guarantee clause. The restaurant owner had personally guaranteed the lease, and he was on the hook for removing a vault weighted 100 tons. And when fixing the place up, it would cost a fortune. Yeah, exactly. It was said. The case was hopeless, of course. That was obvious right away. But then I thought about the ace in the hole landlord with his demands and his threats and his rent hikes. And I asked my bank to do me a solid, which probably did. I picked up the phone and called the restaurant owner. I'm screwed, right? You're calling to say there's no way out? That's what my commercial lawyer already said. But I just thought I'd ask. I could save you, but it's gonna cost. How much? 5,000 in legals and another G note for the agent. Agent? What kind of agent? Real estate. Sent up the check, certified, and leave the rest to me. The check hit my desk in less than an hour, and I went to Aaron's office. I need a real estate agent, I said. You're buying a house? Nope. Selling a house? Nope. By this point, I've been sharing space with Aaron for almost 5 years and he knew it pretty well. You're pulling one of your stunts again? He asked. Yep, but nothing that will get you in trouble. I know, guy. Aaron knew all kinds of guys, and that's one of the reasons he eventually got this bar. But he knew a guy, and he gave me the agent's name and number. And the next day, I paid this agent a visit. I told him what I needed, and we agreed to terms. I gave him some papers and a cash for his fee. A few days later, I was again at the vault for lunch. The owner saw me walk in and greeted me and said, "The landlord's here," he said. "Why?" "For lunch and to be an ace in the hole. Let's sit in the vault room so I don't have to look at his face." It took me to the vault room and with the door almost completely closed. We had a conversation while we ate pasta and drank red wine. "We're making demand on the landlord," said, munching on spaghetti carbonara. "Demand? What are we demanding?" I pull a document out of my briefcase and pass it to him while we're demanding that the ace in the hole landlord release all the restaurant equipment, all the fixtures, the ovens, the freezers, the ventilation, everything you need to run a restaurant. The lease exempts all that stuff. He can't stop me taking what I want. The only thing that matters is the vault. And of course, I don't want that. I shook my head. You need the vault, I said. And we're demanding that he release the bank vault as well. You think you can beat the landlord with reverse psychology? You think if you treat him like a 2-year-old, you can manipulate him to do what you want? We'll find out soon enough. He's had the man for a couple of days now. The restaurant owner dropped his wine glass and shat on the marble floor. You already gave it to him? The restaurant owner said. He got up, swung on the vault door, and called for the waiter to clean up the mess. "Let's see what the landlord has to say," I told him. And we walked over to the landlord's table. The landlord was a big, beefy man with a big appetite, sat alone, eating a rack of lamb wolfishly in his hands. "My client needs an answer today," I said. The landlord looked up at me as he chewed noisily. "I'm the vault's lawyer," I said. "I gave you a demand the other day. My client needs an answer right now. He needs the vault for a new place. And he's got to make arrangements. Your client can forget about the bank vault," he said, wiping his massive greasy hands on an already sold napkin. "But you can't do that," I said. My shot was fiend. The restaurant owner's jaw dropped for real. The landlord laughed at us. "I'm the landlord. I can do what I want. I'm gonna need that in writing because my client might sue." I said, "Sue all you like," the landlord told me. "Sue till you're blue in your face." Oh, forget that. He told me that I have a formal response by day's end, and then he told me to go away and let him finish his lunch. When the letter arrived from the landlord claiming ownership over the bank vault, I brought it downstairs and showed it to my client. How the hell did you do that? Trade secret. I said. The following month, the restaurant moved out and the place was empty. And that was too bad because I had always liked eating at the vault. Now the restaurant was in a new location 20 minutes away. They called the new place the vault. And they preserved the vibe of the old place. It was very similar, except they didn't have a bank vault, all 100 tons of it was where it had always been, in the basement of the building where I rented space. I showed up for work after that, and Aaron called me. The landlord's looking for you. He said, oh yeah? What about? He's really angry. He said his deal fell through. Deal? It was supposed to rent the place downstairs to a new tenant, a bank or a credit union or something like that. They were supposed to come in to sign a lease, but they didn't show up. And what's got to do with? I said to Aaron. And I said the same thing again to the landlord. He managed to track me down a couple of days later. I know you were behind this, he said, his jaws quivering. I know it was you. That offer from the agent, it was all BS. Just a trick to make me keep the vault so that your client could sneak out of the place and leave that freaking bank vault behind. I'm gonna sue. If you're looking for counsel, I think I'm gonna have declare a conflict. I'm gonna sue the restaurant and that agent, and I'm gonna sue you. But the landlord didn't sue. Of course he didn't. He didn't have a contract to sue, only a vague letter of intent that I drafted, and not to hook a greedy landlord who was used to having his way. The offer he received was a non-binding, incapable of acceptance without the signing of a formal lease, which of course never got signed. Then good, you're not signed, then no dice. When I left Aaron's place a year later, downstairs was still unoccupied, so no one's there. With a sad for rent sign sitting in the window, starting to look faded. Well, it's really sad that with the actual vault on it. So they moved to the restaurant, named that same place, the vault, and redecorate everything that it was planned as the old thing. So, well, too bad for the landlord. Well, that's a really long story. I love this is the little story that I wanted to create. This feels like the first episode to a lawyer show. Something between Better Call Saul and Franklin and Bash. In my mind, Mark PG plays you. Oh, I so loved it. I mean, it's a great show. This one of the most professional pieces I've read in a long time. It is good. It looks like an actual episode of a lawyer show, that sort of thing. I'm so happy that how this thing's gonna go. Ooh, that's I awesome. I love this one. I mean, that was the best one I ever read. Good. All right. Let's do the last one before I will wrap this up. Okay. Steal furniture, almost lose your job. Oh, this is very interesting. Oh, it's a lock post too, so no one's okay. So my dad owns a house that he's been renting for some time now. The tenants that lived there were, for the most part, busy people who my dad thought were trustworthy. That's all changed about 2 months into the tenancy when the tenant refused to pay the month's rent. Oh, my dad showed some leniency and gave them another month to pay up that was what was owed. They didn't pay a thing. They should. By this point, my dad, frustrated by the whole situation and being 2 months out of rent money, offered them a deal. Leave the house ASAP and then only pay out the money owed. They countered with a different agreement. They would leave the house in a clean slate, with all the furniture left behind as compensation. Due to when my dad gets to the house, finding a new place in a mess, with none of the furniture still behind, including the furniture that belonged to my dad in the first place. Oh my god, those tenants are dickheads. When my dad confronted them, asking for them to pay the full amount that the furniture was worth, he was met with a promise of payment after 2 weeks, which he didn't believe, and when he requested they pay earlier, it was met with good luck getting your money, followed by laughing emojis. Oh, he's out. That person is out. Get him out of here. This made my dad angry and decided that he wasn't going to let it slide. Okay, so my dad knew that the tenant was a Christian pastor of the church, and his son also had some job related to the church. My dad contacted the church and explained everything from how they had paid him rent money to stealing the furniture and trashing the place. The church was somewhat interested about this behavior. What they did the next day, my dad gets an angry phone call from the tenant's son, cursing at him and asking him what he thought he was doing contacting the church, saying he was being unfair. Yeah, are you swearing because you work at the church? You know, this Christian thing I think I thought it was. So that is so not Christian. That's so. My dad hung up and only for him to attempt to ring 10 times to him. When we could be together, the church had told the pastor that if he didn't settle things with my dad, him and his son will lose their jobs for sure. My dad received the full amount for the furniture that same day and agreed to back off. My dad later said it was never about the money, but the way this guy treated him and his values. Dad being Christian and so was disappointing. Yeah. From the way that they're doing, the way they treat other people, that is so not Christian of them. How can you do all of this now and you work at the church? That's not. Yeah, you're having way too many things for me. I think you somehow broke as many commandments. Huh. Church always pays with residents are covered. Guarantee they receive money for the church by pocketing it. Huh. Well, what a healthy Christian attitude for the tenants should have. They're so not Christian. Stealing and not having to pay them back, that's way against the Christianity. That's against me. And if you keep doing this to me, you're gone. You are out of here. Yeah, that's not a pass, okay? Being Christian is not a pass, okay? I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna say in this opinion, yeah, being a Christian is not a pass. Okay, it is never a pass to become that is so not that is not Christian. That's not how it works here. God will judge you. Okay, will judge. Yeah, that's what. Oh, that no wonder why they doing this. That never fazed me. Said you work at the church and you did all this to them. That's not Christian of you. That's not how I wanted to do. We're not reading the same page, aren't we? I don't think we are. All right, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of bonus. Last one. All right, we'll get right into this one. Threaten my friend with revenge. Nice. I'll ruin your whole damn life. Okay, my very good friend made some slightly dumb mistakes and sent some pictures to someone that she reasonably thought she could trust, but not knowing much more than his first name, his first screen, and roughly where he lived and the type of work he did. He is not in our country, but had indicated that he would be traveling for work to near us shortly, and they had made some plans to meet. And when she got some red flags and backed out, the dude threatened to publish these pictures online. Getting that because your friend may stupidly send those to somebody else that the person know. Because in the internet, you don't know who you're seeing with. You don't know. I am incidentally an attorney. So I'm searching later and gathering up any pictures he sent her of him that could possibly identify him. His online handle led me to a TikTok page, which led me to an Instagram page with his name on it. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And that led to a LinkedIn page and his place where that matched a picture he sent with a Brandon Polo who was, oh, that makes sense. Some more search got me the email of the CEO, BBHR, Operations Manager, Population Manager. I just fire off an email on behalf of my client of the screenshot of him threatening revenge naughties, snippets of the conversation showing that username while he sent that exact picture of him where his company's branded apparel links to how I know it's him, along with the pictures he sent her of his motorcycle with the license plate showing. As further proof, it is him. I also included screenshots of him discussing a workplace incident that were timestamped along the pieces of dialogue discussing how he had naughties with an ex at his place of work, and his cousin plans to have naughties with her in his office as well. Oh, I love with this attorney how this could go. I love this attorney. You, I like you. I also included a picture he sent her showing his work laptop with his entire Outlook calendar, along with a proprietary information which he sent to he was busy, along with his workplace with non-consenting employees. Ooh, that throws him out a little bit. I don't know what will. I further informed his employer that I would be forwarding all this information to local to them, law enforcement, and since he had indicated that he would be traveling to the United States soon, will also forward to this to the law office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, since my client is a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil. These threats constitute a federal crime. Ooh. So they continue with his employment and continue with their plan to send him to the U for work. I will ensure on behalf of my client that the federal enforcement is waiting for him on arrival, which I will do as one of the assistant U.S. attorneys for this region is a law school buddy of mine. Wow, I'm glad that your friend had you as an actual friend, that she had you as a friend and also a U.S. attorney. Try to help him fight this case and get him out. When he's coming to the U.S., oh, that federal crime sure sounds good. He's gonna send out in the U.S. Think twice. Since I have his license plate number, I know where he lives and will be contacting his local authorities tomorrow. So this guy is not from here. It's from another country, traveling somewhere. It might be traveling to the United States, which is not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You dumb motherfucker think you were hiding around anonymity, thinking you could threaten my friend? It took me 45 minutes to destroy your life. 45 minutes to end him. Ooh, I feel like you win 2024. Legit revenge? Check. Person's life now screwed. Check. Done in record time? Also checked. Yeah, 45 minutes. Wow. NLPs learn new tools from their profession. That's a ProRevenge check too. Yeah, I deserve. Oof. I'm reading of his face next day when HR calls him in. Oh, bet. Okay, let's see some of the. Wow. Okay. So there are some other things, but just to look clear on what was going on, because this. Okay, I'm just gonna try and unravel what this one is, because it's really going dim. But I'm gonna have to get this thing out of the way so that we don't want to get ourselves in a little trouble here. Okay, so really agree here. Here, it sounds fake. Okay, I'll set the sources. Okay, claims attorney. Okay, but they made a massive blunder. Okay, so the FA deals with the law. Okay, they do not, and an attorney, not an attorney should know that. So the FBI doesn't need with this one. Attorney should know all this, and is that clue? What we do if you're target revenge naughty? So the above of the FTC, they say found out if there's a law of bench naughties where you live. There are laws against that in 46 states. Plus, these particularly there's one you live and decide where you want to talk with law enforcement. If you do, be sure to tell law enforcement the situation before violence. Okay, it's not a federal thing; it's a state. So one of the lawsuits they have is this: if you've been a victim of it or image based, your protections are depend on where you are, and there's no federal law at all. Thus, the FBI doesn't deal with those. But Opie and attorney didn't know this? Also, it's more anecdotal to look at the post history. Opie made up some story, or Opie is an attorney. Okay. Yep. And so the revenge is not a federal. Yeah, it is. Yeah, international extortion is a federal crime. This one is not. It's a state thing. It's the state's law. This one, the international, it's the federal. This is the entire state law, the entire country law. Yeah. So for the state law, my fire extortion related activity should be noted. This threats or expose or consideration for not exposing violations of the federal law. In other words, this code only covers if you blackmail someone for violating a law, a federal law. The issue requires that the someone who is being blackmailed broke a federal law and the guy is supposed to return. Okay, here's an example. For example, I break federal law. Well, it's equivalent of in response, you blackmail to $1 million, else you tell the FBI I broke the federal law. You in that scenario are violating this code, but only because for federal to begin with. Yeah, so it's 87. Okay, okay. So this is the 875, right? Whoever intends association corporation. Okay, trust is okay. Whoever would extend to store for any position firm association with any money or that transits in interstate or foreign commerce. Okay, through the reputation. Okay, so basically, all in all, it's a little fake. There are some few inconsistencies towards the story, but hey, yeah, okay, that. But other than that, boom, he had destroyed, and he's threatening you, and he's not even in the state. Oh yeah, he is gonna still be happy in jail. Oh, in federal jail, that is federal prison. That's where this person belongs. Really happy about it, but there's some few inconsistencies, but let that story. All right. Guess I don't have anything else right now for this video. A lot. Well, it was worth it. All right. Goodbye, everyone.